You may have heard overnight Stephen Hawking, the best-known space scientist since Albert Einstein, died this morning at his home in England. He was 76. Britain's Guardian calls Hawking's cosmology's brightest star.
He dedicated his life to helping ordinary people understand the secrets of the universe. Hawking lived most of his life in a wheelchair, but he once said, "In my mind, I am free."
He sure seemed like it. NASA tweeted this morning, his theories unlocked a universe of possibilities that we and the world are exploring. May you keep flying like Superman in microgravity, as you said to astronauts on the space station in 2014. Mark Phillips is in London taking a look back at Hawking's extraordinary life and his work. Mark, good morning.
Good morning. Well, Stephen Hawking, he hadn't actually been able to speak for decades, but everybody knew that voice. He was probably the best-known scientific mind of modern times and the most famous disabled person in the world. Stephen Hawking, with his wheelchair and his computer-synthesized voice,
for many people,
was an instantly recognizable figure.
If you reverse time and the universe is getting smaller.
Becoming the subject of a popular movie only enhanced his popularity. Hawking was born in Oxford, England in 1942. He was a 21-year-old PhD student when he was diagnosed with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, Lou Gehrig's disease, and told he had just a year or two to live. He not only lived 5 decades longer, his 1988 book, A Brief History of Time, explaining the mysteries of the universe in layman's language, became an international bestseller and made him an unlikely worldwide celebrity. When he turned 60, he did a star turn with Ed Bradley on CBS News 60 Minutes.
But for me, it is quite an achievement. I never thought I would get so far.
Hawking was one of President Obama's first recipients of the Medal of Freedom, awarded because he had overcome disability to push the boundaries of science.
Professor Stephen Hawkins was a brilliant man and a mediocre student.
A mediocre student with a list of scientific accomplishments going back to the beginning of time itself. His work on the origins of the universe and on black holes in space defined how we now understand them. Yet he was somehow never awarded a Nobel Prize. Always fascinated by space, he took a zero-gravity flight in 2007, the first time in 40 years he could move without the chair.
I could have gone on and on. Space, here I come.
Popular culture, here I come. He had a role on Star Trek.
I call.
Wrong again, Albert.
On Big Bang Theory.
Right. I don't make arithmetic mistakes.
Are you saying I do?
But he knew he had made it on The Simpsons.
What are you doing here?
I wanted to see your utopia. The episode was very funny.
But it's the science that will endure. And here's a fun fact. Stephen Hawking was born on the 300th anniversary of the death of Galileo and has died on Albert Einstein's birthday. Gayle, it's like he said, there may be order in the universe after all.
Oh, I totally agree with that, Mark. And they said his nickname was Einstein back in the day when he was a kid. I saw an interview early this morning with Diane Sawyer. He said his message to his kids was never give up work. It gives you purpose and meaning in life. And without work, your life is empty without it. So true. And he lived his life that way.
Yeah.
I mean, he expanded our minds in a way that we're going to be trying to figure out for probably as long as he was alive.
Yeah. He did say that I wanted to show people they not be limited by their physical handicaps as long as they are not disabled in spirit. He was such a risk taker in many ways, too.
Perfect example of that. Very nicely done, Mark Phillips. Thank you again.